Good morning. This is another mad story. I had to double check it. Turns out to be true. The Sea Life London Aquarium, they announced that they will not assign a gender to a newborn penguin. So, so I suppose this is to show the visitors and tell them, teach them, you see, not to assign gender roles to anyone. And I saw the video. It's this woman from the London Aquarium. Yeah, I think it's a BBC studio where she tells you about this. And she confirmed that there are actually differences between male and female penguin behavior. But this was obviously too important to them. So we don't know what gender this little baby penguin is. And the visitors to this London aquarium, they will not be told, I suppose. If they ask, is it a boy or a girl? They will not tell them. It's a non-gender penguin. I wonder what the penguin thinks about it. All right. Now here's the story about Michael Mann. And Michael Mann was the guy, the climatologist, who produced this very, very famous graph called the hockey stick graph. Yeah, you know, shows the temperature on the planet and its level for thousands of years, and then it goes up very dramatically at the end. That's why it's called the hockey stick graph. And this graph was produced by a guy called, his name is Michael Mann. He's from the United States. And many other experts were skeptical to this graph. And one of them was a Canadian professor. His name is Tim Ball. And he very early challenged this graph. And he challenged any United Nations reports that was based on this graph. You see, this graph is like the holy grail for the climate alarmists, isn't it? Yeah, they use this all the time. So finally, this guy, Tim Ball, reported this Mann guy for fraud. And Mann got upset and in turn reported Ball for slander. And then there was a very long trial. And this is now completed. The court sentenced Mann. Mann was the guy who produced the hockey stick graph, yes, just to make it very clear. So the court sentenced Mann to present the raw data to which he was referring. And he refused. Again, he's refused earlier as well. He will not tell people where he got this graph from. Yeah. So he refused to release the material. And then the court ruling finally came. They are completely judged in favor of Tim Ball. That's right. And this guy, this fraud man, is forced to pay court costs. So this is a clear case of scientific fraud. This is great news. This just it happened in August, I think. There was an email from Dr. Ball. He said, Michael Mann's case against me was dismissed this morning by the British Columbia Supreme Court, and they awarded me court costs. It's great, isn't it? So now what are you going to do, you climate alarmists? This graph that you have been talking about all these years, it was produced in 1998. And the United Nations, they have been drooling about this graph all the time. They have. Yeah, it's been like sugar to them. It's good. So now what are you going to do? All right, that's all. Bye.